Today we are going to continue working on text features. You did a daily check-in for me this morning, and two of these questions, if we cannot have technology issues, there we go. Two of these questions were on your check-in. What are text features, and how do text features help us? Okay, my virtual kiddos, I want you to pause this video, think about the answers to these questions, and push play when you are ready to rejoin. All right, how do text features, what are text features? Raising a hand. What are text features? Try.
Text features are features in the text that help us get a better understanding of the passage.
That is exactly right. That was a beautiful answer. Text features are features in the text that give us a better understanding of what we're reading, of the passage. So then that kind of also answers this question, right? How do text features help us?
Same answer.
The same answer. They give us extra information. They are there so that the author can help us put all the pieces together and understand. So this is our goal. This is what we are still working toward. Are we ready to chant? No. Okay, you're chanting anyway. Sorry. Are we ready? I will be able to.
I will be able to.
Identify nonfiction text features.
Identify nonfiction text features.
And use them.
And use them.
To better understand my reading.
Understand my reading.
Good job. So these are the answers to our review questions. We know that text features are features in the text that the author uses to give us extra information. Raising a hand, what are some text features? Raising a hand, give me a text feature. Michaela. Title, Kinley. Title page. Ethan. A glossary. Kobe.
Index.
Index. Give me another one someone I haven't heard from. Kason.
A heading.
A heading. Someone I haven't heard from. Triton.
Table
Table
of contents.
of contents. Brindley.
Fact book.
Fact boxes. Yes. Track.
Index.
Index. Waylon.
Illustration.
Illustrations. What is similar to an illustration? Shout it out. Picture. Photograph. Okay. One more. Michaela. Labels. Good, guys. Good. Okay. So we just went over and we just reviewed all of our different text features. My virtual kiddos, you've got all of these anchor charts on Google Classroom to go back and review if you need them. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to review my I do that I did for you on Monday, and then we are going to do a we do together. And we're going to continue to explore how America became America. We're going to talk about the colonies. So yesterday, we talked a little bit about the map. We talked, and I want to show it to you again and remind you what kind of the different parts of the world that we're talking about here. So if I have my world map, let's see if I can get this open for us.
Russian.
Okay, here we go. So we've been talking about how the colonists had to sail on these ships. They had to make these colonies. We had the lost colony of Roanoke. We've been talking about Jamestown. We've been talking about Virginia. All of those colonies started because people lived over here in what we call Europe. In 1492, the Spanish, who are the Spanish? There are what? There are enemies. The Spanish hired Christopher Columbus, and they said, I want you to go sail, and I want you to find some new land. We want to get bigger, so go find us some land. So Christopher Columbus sailed across the ocean, and he landed in what we call today the United States of America. But back then, guys, nobody in Europe knew that this piece of land existed. They didn't know any of this existed. Okay? So we know that Native Americans lived here, okay? But they didn't know about Europe, and Europe didn't know about them. So all these countries in Europe started sending people over here, and they were getting big plots of land, and they were saying, this is Spain's, this is France's. And then Queen Elizabeth I said, this is going to be England. And that's what we've been talking about. The part that is owned by England. Okay? Oh. Yes, Waylon.
Don't the I can't remember what they're called.
Native Americans?
Don't they live in Africa?
No, baby. Native Americans were people who were already living on this continent before Europeans came over. Africans lived here. And unfortunately, and we're going to talk about this, after Europeans started coming here, they decided that they also needed slaves. And so they started kidnapping people from Africa and bringing them here as well. And that's how African Americans, that's where that name comes from. But we'll talk about that later in the year. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
How long ago was
The first time we sailed across was 1492.
Wow.
Okay? But the book that we're reading is happening in the 1600s. So we're talking over 400 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Yes, sir.
Are we on the history of America, like how we got on light?
Yeah, we're learning about, until Christmas, we're going to be learning about how the United States of America was born and how we have our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
Wasn't fun. Middle of December and September, we need to watch The Patriotic.
Oh, I don't know if that's school appropriate.
What?
Don't know if that's school appropriate. All right, kiddos. So, now that we have our better understanding of history, we're going to review my I do. Remember, on an I do, your eyes are forward, your hands are empty, and your brains are ready to learn. So let me ask you, where are your eyes? Forward. What are your hands? And your brains are? Very good. Here we go. So I read this to you Monday. And my virtual kiddos, you saw this video on a Tuesday. Okay? And we talked about how, especially now that we're talking about text features, it's really important to read everything on this page. I can't just only read this. Because if I only read this, what am I missing out on? All the other information. All the other information. So I had two questions that I had to answer. And the first question I had to answer was, how many ships did Raleigh take with him when he sailed on that big ocean? Who remembers? Ruben.
7.
Anyone remember where I found it? Ethan?
And your text feature?
Which text feature?
Your illustrate.
It was the illustration, and what do we call this? When it explains what a photograph or an illustration is about, what do we call it? Kinley? Caption. And this caption right here, I found the answer. Okay? I also had a question about, how do I talk people into paying for this trip? How do I talk them into spending money on this trip? Okay.
Get rich.
How are they going to get rich?
Well, by getting the gold and silver out of America.
Getting gold and silver and capturing, they were going to capture somebody.
Spanish.
The Spanish ships. Where did I find that answer? Addison. Here? What do we call this? When it is in a box, what do we call it?
A caption.
Captions explain illustrations.
A sidebar.
When this is all by itself up here in a box, what do we call it? Triton? I feel like you've got it. I feel like it's on the tip of your tongue. Kinley, help us out. Fact box. Or I heard someone say sidebar. Sometimes they're also called sidebars. Okay? So look at us. When it describes an illustration, it is a caption. When it stands alone all by itself, how this does, it's a fact box. Okay? Now, it's important that we know the difference because that's part of our goal, right? Our goal is to be able to identify them and use them. So even though I've gotten good at using them, I still need to make sure I'm identifying them. So as a good reader, in your We Do today, you are going to make sure, just like I did for you Monday, and just like we're reviewing right now, that you read everything on the page. Because that is the purpose of a text feature, is to give us the extra information that's going to help us understand what we're reading. So let me show you what your We Do is going to look like today. When we do a We Do is me and you. Very good. Let me show you what it's going to look like. It looks just like yesterday's, except you're reading new passages today. We're going to dig a little bit deeper in about the colonies. Okay? Remember to read the entire page. And remember, down here at the bottom, on this dark, when that bar turns dark gray, I can take my mouse and scoot over to read the question. This one, there's two of them. So I need to scoot to read the first one and then scoot to read the second one. Now, you can. I was going to show you. One of the things that you can also do if this is difficult for you to read, 2 fingers. Look, I'm going to show you my laptop here. 2 fingers on your trackpad. They're close together. Spread them apart, and you're going to zoom. When you're ready to not be zoomed, take your fingers spread apart, push them down, and pull them back together, close. Okay? So when I am zoomed in, Oh my goodness. I just did it so good.
You can't scroll on.
Ah! I know.
You need help. You can't scroll on separate slides.
You can scroll. I'm going to show you. I just did it.
Well, I mean, you can't scroll down. Like,
Okay, try this again. Come on now.
Just the highlighted stuff. Stop. You can't. Yeah,
I just did it.
that's not happening to me.
Okay, so why does this hate me?
Go to that one. Just do it on that one.
I can't do it anywhere.
And
I've messed it up. If you do get it to zoom in, this little gray bar down here on the bottom, it still exists. This little gray bar down here on the bottom still exists. And you can scroll. There's also going to be a gray bar right here that will help you scroll up and down. Okay, so you can zoom in and you can scroll long ways and up and down. Okay, so this is called freeze and listen to all my instructions. Text feature, we do 3. I want you to do slides 2, 3, and 4. What slides?
2.
Do not do 5 yet. Are you going to do 5?
No.
Very good. Let's get started. Virtual kiddos, pause this video. Text feature, we do 3. I want you to do slides 2, 3, 4, and then come back when you're ready to check your work. All right, kiddos, so what we're going to do is we're going to review the work that you just did with your table group, my virtual kiddos, the work that you just did at home, and we're going to check our answers and make sure that we're on the right track, and then you are going to do slide 5 as an exit ticket, which means you're going to do it by yourself, okay? Here we go. Slide number 2. Remember, I'm a good reader, so I read everything on the page. That means that I didn't just read Exploring the Territory. That means I read through all of the Adventures of John Smith. I looked at all the illustrations. I looked at all the captions. I looked at the giant illustration here. I read my fact box. I looked at this caption. So here is my question. After I've read through all of this, what did the Aliquin think was magic? Raising a hand. What did the Aliquin think was magic? Daisy. The compass. Show me if you agree. So what should I have typed here? The compass. Yeah, the Aliquin thought the compass was magic. That should be what's here. Okay, raising a hand. What text feature told me this answer? What text feature helped me with this answer? Ethan. You can call it a sidebar. They're also called what? Fact boxes. Both of those are correct. Remember, kiddos, when it is in a box by itself, it's a fact box. When it's off to the side from a picture or an illustration, it's a caption. Okay? Good job. Thumbs up when you're ready to move on.
What about the answer?
Okay, while we're getting finished, raise your hand if you knew that Pocahontas was a real person.
I forgot.
That's pretty cool, right? It talks about here how Pocahontas saved John Smith from being clubbed to death by her father and his little minions. Okay? So, Pocahontas was a real person. Her story is not quite like what Disney shows, but she was a very real person. Okay? All right. Number 3. Slide 3. What slide are we on? 3. I am a good reader. So I've read the title, Supply Ships, A Blessing or a Curse. Not only did I read this, but I read these 4 captions. I read this fact box. I read this fact box. I looked at this illustration and looked at the text bubble. So now I am ready to answer my question. Here we go. Question 1. This one was a hard one. Okay. What was the daily ration? Who can raise a hand and share with me what the daily ration was? Kaysen.
The daily ration was boiled barley.
Boiled barley. Show me if you agree with Kaysen. Okay, all of us kind of have it worded differently, and that's okay. The answer to this one was right here. Now let's talk about what a ration is so that we understand. Remember, kiddos, the people who have sailed to this new world, they have no money. They landed in a new world where there are no stores, there are no markets. You grow and you catch the food that you eat. And if you don't grow it or you don't catch it, you're out of luck. So they had this supply ship right here in the illustration that came and landed, and it was supposed to be full of fruits and vegetables and salted meat. But who was eating all of the food?
The lazy people.
The lazy people and the captain. What was the captain doing? Looking for what?
Food.
Gold. It says the captain stayed for 14 weeks looking for gold. And his crew, they were supposed to show up, drop it all off, and turn around and go back. But guys, that's almost half the school year. Can you imagine that? They stayed for half a school year, and they ate all of the colonists' food. So the colonists don't have any food. Okay? So when they say the daily ration, what that means is the amount of food you were allowed to have each day. So they ate boiled barley. Does anyone know what barley is?
Oh, yep.
Track, what's barley?
Well, it is a type of, it's almost like wheat.
It is just like wheat. Yes, sir. It is a type of wheat. Okay? So, guys, they're basically eating boiled grass.
Ooh.
That's disgusting, right? That's disgusting. All right, let's look at question 2. What was this passage mostly about? Raising a hand.
Wait, hold up.
Someone I haven't heard from yet. Trotton.
It was mostly about John Smith trading with the. What was the answer? It was like.
Hang on, baby. Huntley, this answered question 1. Boiled barley. Boiled barley. Okay, go ahead, baby. Question 2. What do you think the answer was? The lazy men eating all of their food. What I could have also put it this way. Who was it that was eating all their food? The people that came on the what? Supply ships. So if I look at this title, supply ships, a blessing or a curse, that means that this was all about whether supply ships were a good thing or a bad thing. So any way that you have it worded, something like that. The lazy people are eating the food. The supply ships are bad. Anything like that. What helps me answer this question? What text feature helps me answer this question? What is this? The title. Guys, when I ask you what something is mostly about, your first clue should always be, go look at the what? Title. Go look at the title. Okay, take a second to make sure that you've got that. My virtual kiddos, if you've got this opened on 2 screens, you can be watching my video on 1 screen and checking your work on the other if you want to be doing that. Okay? All right. That's okay. Let's really quickly look at slide 4 so that we can work on our exit ticket. Here we go. I'm a good reader. So what have I done because I'm a good reader?
Read the.
I have read everything. Thank you, baby. I have read everything here. I've read the title. What is the title? Shout it. The struggle to survive. I've read this paragraph. I've read this heading. I've read every caption. I've read my fact box. I've looked at my illustration. Okay. Question. What were some of the setbacks on page 22 and 23? Well, automatically, there's a real big word out here that's going to help me figure out what word is it. Setbacks. It says it right there. So where should I automatically go look? Through all of this. Give me some setbacks. Just give me one. Raise your hand and just give me one. Try it. You've been waiting.
A terrible fire breaks out on the fort.
Terrible fire breaks out on the fort. Jonathan.
Stingray.
The stingray stings John Smith. Waylon.
The brown rat eat green.
The brown rats sneak out of the ships and they're breeding and they're eating all of your corn. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Reuben.
Final.
The final demand where John Smith is like, listen, you got to send us something better. Okay? You got to send us something better. Brindley.
It rained on them.
Oh, it's pouring down rain. It's cold. They're wet. They're hungry. They don't have good shelter. They're living under a tarp, guys. They're living under a tarp. Reuben. What, baby?
About
The spring, there's not enough food, so they have to go sail down the river and try to find oysters. That's how desperate they are to live off of just oysters. Okay? Good. Any of those, but you do not have to have all of them in that box. But any of those here, I need eyes on me in 3, 2, 1. You do not have to have all of them, but those are the answers that would fit here in this box. What text features helped me with this answer? What text features helped me with this answer? Chat.
Caption.
Captions, and what do we call these that are above the captions? Illustrations. Good job, Daisy. Yes, ma'am. All right, let's look at question 2. Sorry, thank you. Okay. Let's look at question 2. What was this section mostly about? Raising a hand. Raising a hand. What was this section mostly about? Jonathan.
The struggle to survive.
Who agrees with Jonathan? Yes. Yes. This section was all about the struggle to what?
Survive.
What helped me with that?
Title.
The title.
Kill.
The title. Y'all are rock stars. Listen closely to my instructions. I would like for you to please do slide 5 on your own. It is a you do. Okay? Slide 5 on your own. It is only one question. When you are done, you're going to click turn in and you are going to get on iExcel text features. What are you going to get on? If you are done with iExcel text features, you are silent reading. What are you doing if you're done with iExcel? Perfect. My virtual kiddos, complete this exit ticket, turn it into me. I'm going to put iExcel text features on your classroom for extra practice if you feel like you need it. If this was a struggle for you, go work on that and it will give you extra practice. I'll see you guys later.